Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I accept things the way they are. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I love wasting. I love wasting. I get free. I reap abundantly. I already have everything I need. Wonderful is happening to me right now. Don't you feel it? Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Oh yeah, I accept things the way they are. I will. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Good morning. Would you like a program?
Good morning and welcome to the center.
The kitchen detail.
Kitchen detail, all right.
In continuation of Lent for this season, letting go of negative thoughts. God fashioned me from itself. I am God's expression. I am the beloved now. So let's close our eyes and take a deep breath, allowing yourself to be relaxed. Allowing the breath to just breathe in and out. Allowing yourself to be more centered, to be more at peace. Even more relaxed than you were a second ago. Letting go and letting God as you breathe in and breathe out. And on this beautiful Sunday day, as you continue to go within, knowing that within there is peace. Breathing in and breathing out, allowing yourself to go in even deeper, being more relaxed. No worries at this moment. You're in the right and perfect place. It is peacefulness. It is calm. Breathing in and breathing out. Knowing that within your heart there is peace, there is love, there is calmness. And as you continue to breathe, allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper into the quietness and the calm. Feeling more at peace, feeling the love. And now take a moment and allow that peace and love to be centered within in a moment of silence. And now just allow yourself to know that the peace and love and quiet that you experience is the God within. It is the love within you. It is always with you. Namaste.
And if you would, with me, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Let all of yesterday and today be gone. And as we take another deep breath, we know that God is all there is. God is in each and every one of us. God is the ether around every universe, and we are part of this God. Each moment, each breath, each life, we begin each new day with the presence and the knowledge that God is all there is. And I know for this day, as a new life begins for each and every one of us, we have the opportunity to change our life with just a thought, with just a prayer, with just a belief. We are wholeness and perfect just the way we are. I am so grateful knowing that this truth is set free into the universe law, knowing that it is done. I honor each and every person that is here today. I honor our ministers, our volunteers, our singers. And I'm so grateful that each one of you have shown up to be part of our lives today. And I give thanks to God, knowing that all is well. And together we say, and so it is.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming this beautiful morning. And I'm very grateful that you all here to see the celebration of James' birth. And this is my first time doing it, so bear with me, okay? Raquel? So our lives are the legacies of those who have gone before us. The ancestors of this child, James, are no less a part of his community than we here who are present. James is the fulfillment of the dreams of many generations. Therefore, I call upon all of James' ancestors here in the pictures to be with us now to participate in this protection, blessing, and welcoming ceremony of James. And we would like the first candle for the ancestors, so they're present here for James' baby blessing. Now by touching this water, sorry, you bear with me.
You're fine. Yeah, keep up your program.
So I, with this blessed water, bless the forehead, saying that you are connected, protected, loved, and blessed by the divine. Your heart is blessed, that you may feel compassion for yourself and for others. Your feet are blessed so that you may connect with the earth, be grounded, and stand your ground in this world. Know that your spirit is strong and it will guide you through this life. Know that you have angels to watch over you and that you are never alone. Know that you are deeply loved, James, and that your presence brings overwhelming joy to all that see you. James has honored you by choosing you as his parents. Therefore, honor him and remember that James is his own being with his own thoughts and feelings. He is a child of the universe and has been given many gifts from the divine so that he can light the way for the future. Therefore, it is important for you to support him and protect him so that his gifts may blossom and he can make this world better than it was before. Mika and Greg, will you promise to love, nurture, and support James to create a healthy environment so that he may grow on his specific path? And please light the candle. And let the lighting of this candle be an affirmation of this promise that you just made. Let the lighting of this candle also symbolize the light of love. Now repeat after me. You are the warmth of this candle. You were created in love and you are love yourself. Now it's Raquel. Rachel, will you support James on his spiritual path as a godmother, as well as all other paths in his life?
Yes.
Will you promise to support the parents to fulfill their sacred promise?
Yes.
And light the candle. Let the light of this candle help you see through illusion. You are the light of your own life for James.
I don't even know. Okay. You are the poem I dreamed of writing, the masterpiece I longed to paint. You are the shining star I reached for in my ever hopeful quest. For life fulfilled, you are my godchild. Now with all things, I am blessed to be your godmother.
With abiding confidence and affection, we send you forth, James Kelly, on your journey of life. May you be filled with thanks and wonder, humor and fun, hope and perseverance, so that you may grow in wisdom and grace. May God's blessing rest upon you. May His peace abide with you, and may her presence illuminate your heart now and forever. And together, please join me saying, and so it is. Thank you, thank you.
Christina, I love you and your family. James, amazing, amazing little boy and a lucky little boy. I say luck and I don't mean luck, but you've chosen well, it looks like to me. So I thank you and your family for being here today, and we are blessed by this baby blessing. It's a nice start to spring, right? Even though we've got a week, but since we all sprung forward, and I appreciate you springing forward today. Especially with the strange talk title. I don't know that I would have gotten up early for webs and boxes, right? It took me, I will tell you, my challenge this week was figuring out what the web in the box was. Anybody know what webs and boxes is? Anybody have a clue? Not a clue. God, you are. I'm so happy that you're here. God knows I wouldn't have been here. Webs and Boxes comes from a book called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. You all know Brene Brown. She is a social worker, and she did much research on vulnerability. So vulnerability is, to some it means weakness, but more than weakness, or a better definition is doing what Christina did today, to have the courage to get up here and do something that she's never done before, and show who she is, and show her heart and her love. That's being vulnerable. So instead of thinking of it as weakness, let's try to think of it in that way instead, because that's what it truly is. Getting up here and not knowing what you're going to do, what you're going to say, what you're going to what anybody's going to think. If you've got on the right clothes, your hair looks right. It takes a certain amount of vulnerability to do that. And it takes a certain amount of vulnerability to do many things in life. And the world would be a much different place if we were all vulnerable with one another and connect on a deeper level. Brene Brown says this. Brene Brown's. That's a tongue twister. The first page. The phrase "daring greatly" is from Theodore Roosevelt's speech, "Citizenship in a Republic." The speech, sometimes referred to as "the man in the arena," was delivered at the Sorbonne in Paris, France on April 23, 1910. This is the passage that made this speech famous. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or whether doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best in the end, the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails daring greatly. Brene goes on to say that vulnerability is not knowing victory or defeat. It's understanding the necessity of both. It's engaging. It's being all in. The level to which we protect ourselves from being vulnerable is a measure of fear and disconnection. And so, I love I didn't even say, the talk title, obviously is Webs and Boxes. The theme for this month is continuous improvement in education. And it's so interesting how this year our themes they seem to be more about the human side of things. For we all know that we're perfect spiritually, right? We're born perfect. We talk about that on a weekly basis. And we all kind of feel that when we're in here. But sometimes when we get out there, it may feel a little different. We kind of let race thought tell us who we are and what we are sometimes. But we don't necessarily see the truth of who we are as we do when we're in this room. I think that's why we all like to come here on Sundays. That's why you get up an extra hour early to hear about Webs and Boxes. Because it makes us feel good. And we're connecting to the truth of who we are. So why is vulnerability important? It allows us to express who we really are and connect with one another. We get messed up when we feel that we're not connected to each other. That's where we talk about our differences as opposed to our oneness. We're not only one with the one, but we're one with one another. Right? Speaking about being vulnerable, I'm going to admit to a little faux pas I made the other day at the annual meeting. I forgot to thank someone. And Kitty Schuler, I want to thank you for all that you have done. You had 2 concerts last year, and I failed to mention them at the annual meeting. And you also had a trip to Bali that you talked about, and you did a workshop for us on a Wednesday night, so thank you so much. And I forgot to thank Daisy Spikes, who is our Loves Outreach person, and who does so much good. And she goes and she visits the people in the hospital and at their homes. And so thank you, Daisy. I appreciate both of you so much. So Brene calls being vulnerable, living from that place of vulnerability, being wholehearted. A place that is a place of connection and a place of worthiness. So what does the Science of Mind have to say about this? Judge Thomas Chord, who wrote the Science of Mind textbook. Actually, Ernest Holmes studied Judge Thomas Chord, and he was a great influence to Ernest Holmes, the author of the Science of Mind textbook. and the founder of this teaching. Judge Thomas Tord said, "We have never been out of our right path, only we have been walking in it backwards instead of forwards. And now that we have begun to follow the path in the right direction, we find that it is none other than the way of peace, the path of joy, and the road to eternal life. These things we may attain by simply living naturally with ourselves. It is because we are trying to be or to do something which is not natural to us that we experience weariness and labor, where we should find all our activities joyously concentrated by the force of the love that we have for them. But when we make the grand discovery of how to live naturally, we shall find it to be all, and more than all, a perpetual joy to ourselves, and we shall radiate light and life wherever we go." Isn't that where we want to be? We radiate the joy and the life that we all have to one another always. What a beautiful place. That would be creating a world that works for everyone. So what gets in the way of us being vulnerable? We'll get to the webs and boxes part, I promise. It's this thing called shame. And shame is something that we all experience. It's not just a Catholic thing, Brother Dan. And all of you other recovering Catholics, as Reverend Cynthia used to say. Shame is a deep feeling and belief that we are flawed and therefore not worthy of being loved. It's kind of a sad state that we all we've all experienced. And we all continue to experience that. And so shame for women is like a web, Renee says. It's like a web. And shame for men is a box. We're a little more complicated, us women, than the men, right? Shame is, I'm wrong, I'm fearful, I'm weak. How many of those things I'm in that box called shame? Women, a little different. And all of us women will, I think, be able to connect with this and understand what Brene says. Where am I going? Brene says, women, when I think of my own efforts to be everything to everyone, something that women are socialized to do, I can see how every move I make just ensnares me even more. Every effort to twist my way out of the web just leads to becoming more stuck. That's because every choice has consequences or leads to someone being disappointed. So she gives some examples, and so maybe some of you can connect to this. Not just the women here, but all of you men have significant others that are women, or you've got daughters or granddaughters or great-granddaughters. So listen to this. Be perfect, but don't make a fuss about it. And don't take away from anything, like your family or your partner or your work, to achieve your perfection. If you're really good, perfection should be easy. Any of you women feel like that? Don't upset anyone or hurt anyone's feelings, but say what's on your mind. Just be yourself, but not if it means being shy or unsure. Don't make people feel uncomfortable, but be honest. Don't get too emotional, but don't be too detached either. Too emotional and you're hysterical. Too detached and you're a cold-hearted. So that's kind of and I can relate to that being a woman. I think most of you women kind of have felt that. Yeah? And men, I'm sure most of you can understand that being in the box when you don't want to be perceived as being weak or being fearful. So what do we do about this? What do we do about this human emotion? Well, I thought I could tell a story, but I think there's somebody, if Russell can get the YouTube video up, that you might connect with even more so. It's called The Price of Shame by Monica Lewinsky. And she talks about being 22 years old and making mistakes. I know that none of you at 22 years old made a mistake. She says she fell in love with her boss. And that's pretty much how she got into the situation that she got into. And she paid quite a price. Quite a price. And are we still working on that, Russell, or not?
I'm trying to find that space.
Okay. So she goes on to talk about
Shaming at the blood sport has to stop. Prevention on the internet and in our culture. The shift begins with something simple, but it's not easy. We need to return to a long-held value of compassion and empathy. Online, we've got a compassion deficit, an empathy crisis. Researcher Brené Brown said, and I quote, "Shame can't survive empathy. Shame cannot survive empathy." I've seen some very dark days in my life. It was the compassion and empathy from my family, friends, professionals, and sometimes even strangers that saved me. Even empathy from one person can make a difference. The theory of minority influence, proposed by social psychologist Serge Moscovici.
compassion and empathy. That's who we can be. That's who each of us are with one another. I'd like to say that each of us are that way with those people in our lives, but anyone that comes in our lives that are on our path. But I don't know that I can honestly tell you that I am 100% of the time. But that's where the shift is going to come into play. That's where we're going to see each other. It's going to give us permission to be vulnerable. I'm compassionate with those people that I don't know, and I show empathy towards them, and I listen to their story. We've all got a story. Each of us. And us being able to connect deeply with one another is where we all want to be. That's, like I said, that's why we love this place. Because there's a sense of connection here that we don't always get in the outside world. So own a couple things. Own our stories. We've all fallen short. And let's not forget that we've all fallen short. Let's get rid of the judgment. Tell your own truth. Confess your mistakes and missteps. And this moves us into another level, into our friendships and relationships, and creates a world that works for everyone. Melinda Gates. I saw the special on her the other day on CBS Sunday Morning. Powerful woman married to Bill Gates. Powerful man. And she said this at her valedictorian speech in high school. To know that one life breathes easier because you have lived, that is success. So I have an affirmation. Will you guys repeat after me? All that I am, and all that I ever will be, is an expression of God. Therefore I am enough. And my life matters. And so it is. If you all would stand and connect, if you will. All right. Let's just take a deep breath. I'm feeling that beautiful energy in this room. That energy knowing that we are all one. And this week I allow myself to step out of my web. I allow my brothers to step out of their boxes. And I show compassion and empathy. I am love, I am light, I am joy, I know each and every one of us is that in our own unique, individualized way. And I'm just so grateful to know that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that potluck Sunday is wonderful, the food is divine, and we all have a beautiful rest of this week. And together we say, and so it is.